Welcome to the Plant-Based Podcast. Did you know that plants are truly amazing? Not only can you grow them and eat them, you can also wear them, drink them, nourish your skin with them, and so much more. Let Ellen and Michael inspire you to love plants as much as they do, as they chat with the movers and shakers in this wonderful plant-based world. So, let's dig in.
Hey guys, the sponsor for Series 16 of the Plant-Based Podcast is Grow This Not That, which is the Substack by myself, Michael Perry, also known as Mr. Plant Geek. This is the place where you can get all the hot happenings in the hort world directly to your inbox. Every Friday there's a hort report which brings together the influencer, industry and home gardener worlds, and every Wednesday I'll recommend 5 plants that you can grow, and subscribers get an extra free as well. All you need to do to find out more about my wonderful Substack called Grow This Not That is go to mrplantgeek.substack.com. Hope to see you there. Hey guys, today we've got Benjamin Pope on the podcast. He's a top horticulturalist and we're really pleased to have him here because he's got more than 20 years experience in horticulture. He runs a private garden in West Sussex with a skilled team, and we want to talk to him today particularly about winter in the garden and how it doesn't have to be all grey. So welcome, Ben.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm looking forward to this because, I think winter colour is exciting, but everyone kind of thinks the garden has to be really boring over winter. So this is like really cool for me. I'm going to get lots of tips from it.
Good.
Definitely. I haven't told Ellen yet, but how we knew each other is because we were both involved in that naked calendar, weren't we? I don't know if
I knew you were going to bring that up.
I don't know if we were in the same shoot or not, because I remember you were in the Christmas shoot.
Yeah, no, we were. I think there was a couple of shoots.
Yeah. So I don't think we ever met on set, but we were both featured in the same Grubby Gardeners. So that was how I knew of your name. I then started to learn about all of your different experience and where you worked. And now through social media, I see that you not only, we're going to talk about winter colour in the garden, but also you go off and do so many talks and you're involved in lots of different panels and you're doing history in the garden. Like you talk about inclusivity in the garden as well. So I think this is going to be a really, really cool chat that we're going to have here today.
And I would like to just say that I remember meeting Ben many years ago at Bolwick Hall in Norfolk, where Kenny Higgs is the main gardener.
Higgs!
I think it was his first ever open day, I think, perhaps.
It was.
Yeah. And we went along and that's where we met. That was ages ago. Long.
How is Kenny? I haven't seen him for ages.
I think Kenny is good. Yeah, he's still at Bolwick.
Still there.
Yeah, still there. It's a lovely place in Aylsham in Norfolk. So that they open up for NGS once a year. So if you're in or around Norfolk, it's definitely worth checking out. But anyway, let's get back to Ben. Ben, tell us a little bit about you. We know you do lots of interesting things. Michael's just introduced you. You're a busy man. So tell us all about what you do.
Yes. So first and foremost, I'm a gardener. I love gardening, love being out there with the plants, growing everything. But, I've been in this private garden for 17 years and to stop things getting stale, you want to do other stuff. You want to kind of explore creatively and get inspiration. So anything that kind of gets me out of this private garden and gets me meeting other gardeners, chatting to. So I teach, which of course is easy, teaching something you love. And that's really great. So I teach in London for the Chelsea Physic Garden. And also at West Dean. And I also teach as well as do talks for gardening clubs, for charities. So we mentioned the calendar perennial, but I do lots of talks for them as well and garden question panels, things like that to raise a bit of money. And then alongside that, I do bits of writing. So I write for magazines. I've written book, actually. We'll have to plug it later.
No worries.
And then alongside that, I've kind of my retirement project, I suppose, is starting up a kind of sustainable market garden. So about 5 years ago, when I thought I had loads of time, which I'm getting less and less of now, I bought a 5.5 acre field. And and I'm trying that. It's on heavy clay, so very different from what I garden on at the moment, but literally just a couple of miles down the road. So it's really convenient. But yeah.
That's
Me in a nutshell, I think. My life is a lot about gardening. And then it's not about that, it's about eating good food, going out with friends. But it's a lot of gardening and plants.
But I'm going to ask you about the garden you manage in a minute. I didn't realise you'd been managing it for 17 years. That's incredible.
Quite
But
scary,
tell us
isn't it?
first about like your childhood as well. Were you growing up with plants? Did you always want to work with plants like me?
No.
And Ellen,
So,
was in her soul as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in a village in Surrey, sort of leafy Surrey, in the North Downs. And so loved newts, frogs, amphibians, being outside with nature. There was fields, there was a stream. And I suppose I used to create environments, but not really garden as such. Our garden was pretty boring. We had some big garages, which my dad used as workshops or for a car. There was big log sheds for the wood, for the fire. And that was sort of it, a morello cherry and 2 triangle bits of grass. So it wasn't that inspiring. My grandparents both loved, well, my granddad loved gardening, but I didn't know him so well. And then I was sort of basically told to keep out of the garden at that point, not to really play. I'd be climbing up apple trees and whatever and get told off. So, yeah, no, it didn't really happen, I suppose, until I kind of 17, 18, choosing I was going to go and do art and design. And I was got to the point where you'd have to go to university. And I just thought, I don't want to be indoors, I can't imagine a career where I'm indoors every day. And so I took a year out and, worked in a garden centre. And then, you see your first flowers and you start to get really inspired. And, it went from there, really, And then after that, my mum, she was always this voice on my shoulder going, well, if you're going to make it a career, you need to go and study. You've got to make it official. And so I did a propagation course, an NCH they called it at the time, which is a national certificate. And again, propagation, for anyone that does that, it's so nice. Of course, you get free plants, but when a seed germinates or when a cutting starts to root. So I did all of that and then went to Wisley, did a traineeship there. And then from there started to travel. So I managed to go to Japan. In fact, I was doing a dissertation and got bursaries. So I went to Japan and did a study of their garden design. So I was still very much into art and the design side of it, but definitely more coming at it from this practical side, I suppose. And I went to Australia, worked in nurseries, propagating, setting up stock beds, all of this sort of thing. South Africa. So travelled quite a bit.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And at the garden that you manage, it's a private garden, and you've been there for 17 years. Talk us through kind of like how big a space that is, kind of like the different areas you've got there as well.
Yeah, so it's about an 8 or 9 acre garden set in the South Downs. So I've moved from the north to the south now, and really lovely sort of countryside, rolling hills, agriculture land. But there's lawns, topiaries, woodland. There's a small sort of lake. And then I suppose at its heart is this big wall garden that's 1.5 acres. And it's productive. So we're growing fruit, veg and cut flowers. And sort of before I started there, I'd had a little allotment and grown some produce, but not really seriously. And actually to grow vegetables and also cut flowers, in fact, is this immense sort of satisfaction that I've started to appreciate and gain. And now it's something I really, really love, having something that looks beautiful in the garden, but actually that you can use and bring into the house to improve your life as well. It just sort of pays you back tenfold. So that's a big thing of what I either teach or talk about. It's, as I say, I'm setting up my own market garden, a sustainable market garden, because I absolutely love it. But yeah.
Wow.
I love how you say your retirement plan is a market garden. I'm thinking there's not much retirement going on there, is there?
No, I'm not old enough to be anywhere near it either.
You karma.
Funny. So managing a garden, a private garden of that size must come with its challenges, I guess. What kind of challenges do you tend to face?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a big garden, isn't it? But in terms of having a garden team, it's actually quite small. So I have a team of 4 other gardeners who all work part-time. So it equates to about, including my hours, it equates to about 3 full-time gardeners all year round. But But because it's those four, there's no areas where people can just look after a separate area and have their own, domain. So we all work together, and that's the biggest thing. Everyone has to get on. It's really important, especially being private, so you don't get any other interaction with other people. So the team has to really. And then from that, I suppose, I've been there 17 years. It's about keeping everything going, keeping motivation, getting fresh ideas, career development for, the team really as well, not just me, but the team too. So in fact, having them there part-time is really good because they have separate projects on the side. And then they can come in and we can talk about that, about this garden and that garden and planting. And so it's a real sort of collaboration and sharing of ideas whilst we're working. And that really does help a lot. I think physically, the challenges, again, for sort of these size gardens might be budgets and costs and things, but also access is a big one for us because it's an old garden. The property dates back from 1500s. There's some really beautiful old trees. There's walls, there's buildings, so you can't often get big machinery in to do stuff.
Oh, wow.
And actually, so a lot of it is kind of old school. It's barrows and spades, moving, hefting. So that's quite a tricky situation, I suppose, logistically. But yeah, they're the two biggest things. But thankfully, I mean, I've got a wonderful team who I do call my friends and go out with socially as well. So cool. I'm really, really grateful for that.
That's nice.
And I'm also intrigued when you're managing a big private garden, how involved are the owners? I guess they're either very hands-on or very hands-off. How is it for you?
Yeah, so I did, before I came to this garden, I worked for Arabella Lennox Boyd and dealt with really big properties. And again, scaled up. Sometimes the owners were involved, sometimes they weren't at all. It completely depends. I had an interview with my owners. We got on really, really well from the word go. And they were interested. So Arnie Maynard originally designed the garden and he interviewed me. And so he had input in the first couple of years. And the owners also wanted some input. And then, of course, I wanted some input. And I think they were very, very good at encouraging me to do other things as well as having input because, like anyone, isn't it? If you feel invested in a project, you're going to give it more energy and get the best out of it. So. And Arnie was very happy with what we were doing. And so he sort of gently stepped back. And then it became very much a collaboration of my employers and myself. I suppose I come up with a yearly kind of thing at the end of the year, go, right, come on, let's tackle this. Let's relook at this. Do you think we should do something like this? So lots of things like that happen. But occasionally, because we go lots of cut flowers and stuff, my employers might be like, can we try this? Can we do that? And again, we have meetings with the staff down the pub, get the seed catalogued out. And then we kind of go through what would we like to grow.
Oh, that's so idyllic. I love that.
You've got to enjoy your life, haven't you?
True. But we heard you're also the beekeeper there as well, right?
Well, I was. Clearly, I'm obviously not a great beekeeper. I got stung too many times.
Oh, no.
About 8 years ago, I became really allergic. And
really?
I had an EpiPen, haven't been stung for a while. And last year I got stung and I didn't react. So I'm kind of wondering if I could return to it because it's such a lovely thing to do. Again, it's a bit of time, I suppose. It takes a huge amount of time, preventing them to swarm, controlling varroa and all that. But it's so interesting. And all the flowers we had in the garden, because we've got lots of herbaceous borders, this massive long season of interest and nectar source. So we were getting, 35 pounds of honey off each hive, which was amazing. It's loads. And there was still enough for the bees for winter as well. So, we need to get back to.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, let's talk about this time of year and going on into winter. Lots of people think as soon as Easter comes around, it's a time to get gardening, and fill the garden up with all instant impact plants and all of those kind of things. But I think we know that it's autumn, really, don't we, Ben? Autumn?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm one of these people that likes all the seasons. I'm a bit fickle. And depending on when you ask me, I'll probably go, this is my favourite season or the next one coming. But yeah, autumn and winter have got so much to give. I mean, autumn colour is looking really good right now, even despite the lower light levels we've had. And then as we go into winter, I mean, I don't like that phrase, putting the garden to bed, because I think it doesn't go to things slow, but it's things are still moving and the whole thing changes. The space changes, the views you get through trees and bushes, the vegetation comes down and you start to see the gardener different. And I love that. and there's really good, I mean, I do a whole talk on winter gardens because I love it so much. So topiary, they call it the bones of the garden, don't they? All of that starts to come to the forefront. And there's, whether the plants are living and green and evergreen, or whether they're, just the skeletal remains and they're adding some sort of interest or texture, seed head or whatever, there's still stuff you can use. I think for winter, it can be a real joyous time of year.
I agree. And there's loads to do in the garden at this time of year. Like, it is a busy time, isn't it?
Yeah, autumn is really busy. I always think, spring is busy, but it's all time critical. If you miss a sowing date by 2 weeks, you really missed it. But actually, autumn, you get more time. But with autumn, you're taking stock of everything that's gone before. You're going, okay, what worked this year? What didn't? What changes can I make? It's a great time to do planting. The soil's still warm, so you can start making changes if you want to. And then pruning all comes into it as well, especially a lot of your fruit pruning will start, your roses. And so there's all of that, tree planting, hedge planting, So there's loads to do this time of year. It's great, getting outside and moving. It's one of the best tonics, I think, for getting rid of winter blues or autumn blues.
I agree.
Well, we'll come on to winter flowers in a moment, but kind of like, I think generally the tide is turning a little bit with people becoming less tidy with their gardens. They are leaving seed heads in place, allowing them to winterize. Is that a word I just made up? I'm not sure. But like that is part of the structure, and you've touched on a little bit of that, but kind of like talk us through a bit more of the joy you can get from non-flowers over the winter months as well. And if you don't cut them down for the winter, when do you cut things like that down as well? Because people get very confused. And it is, like we said, moving away from that putting the garden to bed, it's like letting it have a big lay-in. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, that's a great way of describing it. Yeah, and again, I try not to get too het up with specific definitions. If you love to cut your boulders down, do it. If you want to wait to the end of spring, do it, whatever. But for us, we tend to go through anything that we feel looks a mess. So like the geraniums that get all soggy, they'll be cut back, and whatever else. In areas of the garden, because it's 7, 8, 9 acres, we do leave bits completely untouched, and that's great for wildlife. But the standing herbaceous that we'll leave, so things like monadas or veronicastrums, these have really beautiful seed heads that look great with a frost on. And then there's grasses, so grasses have a wonderful texture, lots of the miscanthus, the sinensis types stand really well through winter. I'm a big fan. In fact, one of my favorites is probably miscanthus nepalensis, which has these silky, gorgeous golden tassels, and they stay right the way through till March, April. We have to cut it back down. Wonderful. It's a bit more open. It's not as upright as some of the sinensis types, but there's loads of other grasses too that still offer, and I mean, we can talk about them as we go through. And then seed heads, native seed heads. So in our wilder bits, we've got teasels, wonderful seed head, great for Christmas decorations, but also, seeds for birds. And then also when growing, wonderful nectar source for insects growing season. Okay. But there's lots there. And I always think when you kind of contrast these brown stems, these seed heads with, a bit of evergreen, you get this kind of really magical dynamic moment. So having topiaries, having backdrops of smaller hedges that are evergreen, that are dark green colour, or not necessarily evergreen. I mean, we could use beech, that holds its leaves in autumn and winter. So actually that will give you another colour. Then you get, a really, really nice sort of composition, I suppose, of loose textural stuff next to bold shapes. And this really becomes quite a dynamic kind of shape, which you don't necessarily get as much of in the summer because there's so much going on,
Yeah, that's true. I'm literally sitting being taken away into a beautiful, awesome winter garden now.
Yeah, really inspiring.
Yeah, it's lovely. But how about those of us that need to see flowers all year round? What can we plant and enjoy for over autumn and winter?
Yeah, well, there are loads actually when you stop and start to think about it. So for things like the classic shrubs, you've got everything from the Daphne Baluas, which will be flowering and beautifully scented, all those cultivars. You've got viburnums, the Bodnatents, crosses, those cultivars, again, super scented. And then you've got things, I suppose, going a bit smaller than that. You've got a lot of the early bulbs coming through. So straight January, in fact, even some of the autumn, you've got crocuses, and then you've got cyclamen, you've got going on to snowdrops. And so there's a lot there. And then, I mean, I of course got to mention hellebores.
Yeah.
They're wonderful, aren't they? Kind of sit there, get covered in with the leaves through summer, don't make any fuss or noise, and then kind of come the winter, they really sing. And there's some really nice Ballardii ones that have come through. One of my favourites is called Merlin, and it's crossed with Niger, which is a really early type. And so they actually start flowering, you know, pretty much in December. And they're beautiful. They're kind of, as the flowers go over and the seed pods develop, they're still looking good into March and April even, you know. So there's a lot that can sort of interest the eye in terms of flowers through winter, I think.
And a lot of those winter flowers are often a lot more fragrant, or are they more fragrant, or is it just the fact we notice that more because there's less other sensory, perhaps? I don't know.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because I mean, if you think of roses in summer, you can get some super fragrant ones, and it's amazing. But there's lots going on in winter. Yeah, the because of obviously a lot of the invertebrates, the pollinators are hibernating. The plants really have to work harder at enticing them out, enticing those ones that are around, and so they use scent a lot. So yeah, you think back to some of the plants I've mentioned: Chimonanthus praecox, even the good old winter box Sarcococca. All of that heavily scented to, again, just attract those pollinators that are still awake and still moving around. And yeah, like you say, our senses, you know, everything becomes a bit more poignant in winter. We tend to notice more details, and scent is one of those things.
Totally. Wow.
Yeah, I quite agree. What about for smaller spaces? You know, lots of people, you know, only have a balcony or a patio, might want to plant up a winter basket or something. Do you have any suggestions for kind of a nice...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I absolutely love containers. It's one of my favourites because it is like having a mini garden, you know, and you can be so creative and take things in and out and whatever else. So I do lots of containers. But for winter, a bit like the garden, I suppose, I wouldn't just stick with pansies, you know, and some narcissus. And like we tend to use even a lot of small shrubs. So I'll buy a shrub to go in the garden or wherever and grow it on for 2 or 3 years. I mean, there are even small trees and shrubs that you can use for many, many years and we're happy in containers. So having something like, you know, the Prunus incisor Kojo Nome, you know, that lovely small little ornamental cherry that can actually get to about 2 and 3 meters in the garden. But, you know, if you grow it in a container, it can stay to 2 or 3 foot. It flowers beautifully sort of February, March time. But even before then, it's got these kind of zigzaggy stems. It has great autumn colour. So that as a focal point, as a permanent thing would be fantastic. And then around that, you could plant all sorts of things. I've mentioned, you know, grasses. So sedges, carex, they're wonderful. I've actually, in fact, I did a really nice hanging basket last winter. And it had carex frosted curls, which is a really silvery one. And I did it with one of my hellebores that I bought, again, because hellebores are expensive. So I tend to buy them like 9 centimetre pot size and grow them on again. And so this one was called Silver Lace. So really lovely silvery hellebore leaves with this silvery, frothy carex. And then I think with it, I put a carokia, which is a New Zealand shrub, tiny leaves, you know, and it's silvery green again. So I kind of went with a theme there. And then to add a bit of green, ferns. You know, ferns are wonderful, evergreen ferns. So I'm thinking there's lots of polystichums, which are semi-evergreen. But then you go to aspleniums and the heartstone ferns. And in fact, there's a cultivar, angustifolium, which has really kind of creased foliage. It catches the light beautifully. I use that quite a lot in containers. And so then that would be a lovely one.
Oh, sounds heavenly, really.
Yeah, totally.
Want any more examples? I mean, I can go on.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We
haven't touched too much for containers or borders, but like stems, coloured stems as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the most obvious of cornus, but then you've also got like rubus cockburnianus as well, which we'll always giggle at. But also there's some things coming through with like black stems and kind of like talk us through the joy of stems. And what do those plants do for the rest of the year? Because a lot of them are quite anonymous, aren't they? How do we work with those sort of plants in a border?
Yeah, so exactly that. Cornus, the dogwoods, the stemmed ones as opposed to the flowering, are a prime example. You want the young sort of stems and foliage, vigorous growth, because it's going to give you the best coloured stems. So you're pruning them quite hard in the spring. And the rest of the year, they can be a bit sort of, sit back and not really do anything. I mean, there is variegated.
Yeah.
But and also come autumn, some of them do have a really good autumn colour. So you mentioned the black stem one, Kesselringii, that has really nice autumn colour. So that can be really useful there. I mean, it's all with gardening and using those sorts of plants. It's having other things that can, take the baton beforehand or around it. I mean, you could grow up clematis through it that would look quite nice in the summer. Viticellas are brilliant for that. And then you can just cut them back as well. But going on from that, you've got willows, the catchy as well as the interesting coloured stems. So I mean, they get obviously a little bit larger. So in the garden, it would be perfect. I mean, what we actually quite like to do is Christmas time, we'll use, I don't know, skimmias that you often see, Skimmia japonica with the red berries. We'll use it as a plant. And then we'll actually just cut the stems and dress the pot. So cut stems of either willow and cornus, bright red ones, orange ones, whatever, and then put them in and kind of really sort of dress it nicely.
That's
but
cool.
As well as colours, there's a real plant that I'm quite fond of at the moment called, and I use it in containers actually because they're quite small. I've got one. It's, Euonymus alatus. It's a quite rigid one. Great autumn colour. Yeah. But there's a cultivar called Blade Runner, which, I mean, I fell in love with the name straight away.
Okay. Yeah.
It has, the ridges on it are so pronounced. It's so textural.
Oh, really?
And again, good autumn colour, but actually...
Googling as we speak.
lovely textural. And again,
these containers are not pansies and violas, that's for sure.
No. If you love pansies and violas and it does it for you, go for it. I think, we can all get a bit more... Let's say exciting, maybe not exciting, but experimental maybe,
What about, let's talk about berries as well, because, we're not just talking, pyracantha, holly, we're also talking things like calicarpa. What about colourful seed pods like decaisnea as well? Like, talk us through seed pods.
I mean, both of those are absolute classics that you've mentioned. I mean, the calicarpa, the Peruvian, it's almost an artificial thing, isn't it? Plus these really vibrant purple ones. And in fact, you can buy them pretty readily in the garden centre. They've probably been grown quite tight, so they really pack a punch in that first year, and use that in a container. And I like to use, again, rose hips. I think a lot of the rose
good one.
In a bigger border situation, not necessarily a container. We're keeping a lot of rose hips going. There's one called Autumn Fire, which is a big shrub rose, and it has these massive flagons, that are bright orange that we use, again, we cut for winter for the wreath and that sort of thing. But taking it smaller, I suppose most of berries and seed pods do tend to be on larger either shrubs or, some interesting seed pods on perennials. So things like Cardiacrinum has an amazing seed pod.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Almost like, I think it's a bit like Little Shop of Horrors because it's almost kind of got these zaggedy teeth. Yeah, it's crazy. And so that can look really good. But again, that's quite a specialist niche that wouldn't necessarily be easy to do in a container.
But you say about plants being too big for containers, but I do a lot of different work in Japan where I plant in containers and workshops, and they always have in the nursery dwarf calicarpa that are this tall.
Wow.
Like, shock horror, they're probably treated with some chemicals or something to do that, but it makes such an interesting little plant to work with in containers. So, it really opens up more possibilities. Yeah.
Certainly does, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Once you sort of get out of the mindset of just polyanthus and, I don't know, crocus or whatever, or some early narcissus.
Totally.
Which actually you can use all of those as well. Primulas are wonderful. Then start to experiment other things. I mean, I love to dig stuff up from the garden. I mentioned about growing shrubs on and then putting them back in the garden, but things like a nice hellebore that is going to flower, dig that up and use it as a centerpiece. Virginia, Virginia or Pulmonaria, which is, I suppose Pulmonaria is getting towards the end of winter, beginning of spring. But certainly Virginia with the big coloured sort of elephant leaves, there's some that Overture is a wonderful one. It goes really sort of burgundy. And I dig that up and put it in a pot as well. So
I was just thinking, when I was last in Italy, when was it? Maybe at the end of the spring, they have begonias in a lot of window boxes.
Yeah.
It's amazing to use it in that way, because we just see it as some kind of like scrubby plant that you use in dry shade or something. But yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. And what it is it's the shape, that big sort of metallic-y coloured leaf. And then you combine it with a grass that's really fine texture. And then you put in something like some bulbs, and suddenly you've created something really, really interesting.
Super cool, honestly.
And then it's got a life after winter. It's got a life to go on to in the garden or something else.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing to chat to you about all this.
So awesome. Very inspirational.
Good.
Oh, but what else? Like, we're talking about the winter garden, but what else do you do in the winter? Because you are doing lots of different talks. What's coming up for you over the next few weeks with your really, really comprehensive, interesting schedule that you seem to have?
Well, I'm trying to quiet it down because this year I haven't done much on the market garden. But I suppose I've got a few more talks to do, some for Perennial and some for myself. I'm putting together a trial. So I'm on the RHS Herbaceous Committee.
Okay.
And also I do a lot of the trials for awarding AGMs, which are that Award of Garden Merit. And so I'm putting a Pennisetum trial together, which is a grass, an ornamental grass, but people don't know what it is. Lovely seed heads from the autumn that actually, again, stand through the winter. So you could use those too. I'm putting that together. That's going to start in 2026. It's going to start. So next year we'll be sourcing plants and getting people on the forum and that sort of thing. And then in the Herbaceous Committee, I'm doing ratifications of some of the trials that we've already had this year or the last 2 years. So dahlias are coming on. In the garden, though, much like I've mentioned those jobs before, but also, planting bulbs. Great time for planting bulbs now, going into winter.
How many do you plant out every year? Do you plant hundreds and hundreds of bulbs every year?
It changes. If we do the outer borders, there's 6,000 tulips in those alone. And that one thing. And that can take quite a while. This year we've got a light.
Have you got a bulb drill?
Yeah, I've got a couple
drill now, aren't they?
Because we were experiencing a little bit of tennis elbow after a while. And those augers are great, aren't they? The drill bits that you just put on. And it works. We've got quite a nice sandy loam soil, so it works quite well. Oh, that's
a dream then.
Yeah, spoiled. But this year, we've probably, I don't know how many have we got. We do about maybe 600, 700 cut flowers. Containers, again, as I say, I love containers. So we've got lots of tulip and narcissus going into the containers. So again, that will probably be, I don't know, another 800, 900. No, so not huge thousands and thousands, but it adds up to maybe about 5,000, 6,000, I suppose, in total that we'll be planting this year. We've already started with the narcissus because they like to get in early. So we've put in some really nice pheasant's eyes, and we've done Dutch iris as well because they always grow quite early. Those crocus things, and then we'll probably.
Dutch iris are so easy as well, and quite good value as well for a beginner.
We're growing a new one called Carmen. I haven't grown it before, and it's this lovely sort of white and blue. We put it in the meadow, 150 of them. And so the idea is that they'll float amongst the grass. I've done it before with other ones, and it looks really nice. So I'm quite excited about that. And then we use them as cut flowers as well, because in the cut flower bed, they're amazing.
Oh, super nice. Wow. God, such a busy guy. Thank you for coming and talking to us about winter plants, though, because I think a lot of people get stuck with that, and a lot of people don't even do autumn. They just let their begonias die, and the begonias still die in the container until next April when they turn them out and put some new ones in.
Yeah, they all better do something.
That's true. Ben, where can listeners find out more about you? Are you online or anything to do with your market garden or anything at all?
Yeah, so I've got an old website called The Working Garden, www.workinggarden.com. But my most active thing is probably Instagram, like everybody. And again, that's The Working Garden. I do the odd bit of radio in Sussex and Surrey. They get me on to, I don't know, talk about snowdrops or something at the time. And then other than that, sometimes, I'm about doing talks and things, I guess. So yeah.
Very cool. Thank you so much. It's been really good talking to you, and it's given me inspiration. I really need to pull myself together with some winter interest that's not just pansies and violas, for sure. In containers, that is, because I have a balcony, so it's always in containers. So I was really interested in what you had to say. So thank you so much.
No problem. It's an absolute pleasure.
We're recorded.
Okay, I was going to say to you, lovely Michael, royal visit at Stone Hill.
But you're not Ellen.
I know I'm not. Am I a good second in?
Yeah, we just got to explain, like, Ellen and I, we couldn't make our diaries meet up. We can't always, like, get them to coordinate. So I've got to stand in Ellen. I've got Julia Parker. Parker's Patch. Parks. I used to call you Parks, didn't I?
You did.
She's just, she's got the early signs of being an icon. I don't want to give her too much yet. How are you?
Definitely not. I'm good, thank you.
What were you going to start dribbling on about?
To say that you arriving like the king.
I didn't arrive like the king. You tried to treat me like the king.
Well,
and then I was like, stop it.
Tried to send you somewhere else.
True.
Don't give me anything tech to do that's new.
How are you doing? You're so cute, honestly. From the moment I first met you, I was like, oh, there's just something about this woman. She's got a certain je ne sais.
Let's not go into that because we've no idea what the je ne sais. You're making me blush. Anyway, I was going to say...
You've just got an energy.
Have I?
What star sign are you?
Virgo.
Ooh, I don't know anything about that one.
I can tell you lots.
Oh, really?
All lovely things.
Great.
I don't think Virgos are easy to live with because we tidy things up before they've even been looked at or used.
Oh, really?
Hate
well, I am in a
mess.
very tidy lounge.
Are you?
Although those coasters are not perpendicular.
No, they match. They're
True.
pink.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, the whole room matches.
Just going to
candles
say,
match
the whole
coasters.
room isn't pink. I'm just going to
Yeah,
that
true.
quickly.
Introduce yourself in a paragraph. Maximum 2 sentences.
Okay, I am passionate about growing your own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm passionate about encouraging the younger generation to grow their own, to eat healthily, eat seasonally. I love greenhouses.
Mm-hmm.
I've written a book, co-written a book, Little Girls Cookbook.
Nice.
And we have a rival podcast.
We do. She was like, can I mention the podcast? I was like, yeah. I didn't mean it, obviously.
It's got you in a
No, of
handlock.
course. It didn't work. Come in a half Nelson. What's your podcast called, Julia?
Two Good Gardeners.
Is it good?
It is.
Is it top 10?
Well, yeah, it is.
Is it really?
Well, can I tell you we've been
I don't think we're top 10.
shortlisted for the Garden
Have you?
Unity Guild.
Oh.
There we are, yes.
I
Second
don't think
year
we even
running.
entered.
Oh, we've got to enter to be shortlisted.
That's really cool. Are you going to be there?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I am actually. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm shortlisted for digital writer.
know.
Your lawnmower.
Oh, there's Percy.
Oh.
Percy's in action.
Oh, wow. Going across that landscape.
Ask me why he's called Percy.
Why is it called Percy?
Percy Thrower the Mower.
Oh, my God. You can see icon status, honestly. Oh,
And look who else
oh my
is
gosh, a
coming.
ginger cat.
Oh, we're being inundated.
What does the cat match? Nothing.
Not
Does it
so
go with
far.
pink?
Look, he's coming up.
Is he allowed
This
to?
is Pumpkin. So Pumpkin's just joined us.
Oh, how seasonal.
Yeah. Well, because he's orange.
I worked that bit out.
I'm just helping you along.
Tell us something else wonderful about your podcast.
Well, okay. Well,
How long have you been doing it now?
We're into 4 series. Yeah. So we're doing
really
the 4th
cool.
one now. We've been doing
Every
it
fortnight as well, right?
every fortnight.
Yeah, that's
but we
cool.
have a little break.
Yeah?
We have a little summer break.
A hiatus.
Need to refresh and regroup.
Yeah.
So we had about 4 weeks off this summer. We'll have a little Christmas break.
Yeah.
Because Dan is quite busy, so he needs to lie down. And so yeah, we have 8 episodes in a series, so we
that's cool.
span it out.
That's not much time off either. That's really good going.
Yeah, no, it is. I do really enjoy it, but as we said earlier, they're quite labour intensive.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah,
But,
so-
but like I said to you, if our producer Gareth is listening, like we don't really edit much. But apparently,
Gareth,
Julia and Dan, they
you're
edit
right,
out all their ers and ums.
Not all.
You guys have to take all the ers and ums.
Yeah, we edit some. We edit
Yeah.
some. It still remains natural.
Only when you leave them when they work in context.
When I think I've taken too many out.
Have you got an almometer?
No, but we should do.
An thermometer.
My Christmas list.
Oh dear, such an icon.
Oh, I was going to say, so you've come to visit today, which is lovely, but I was going to say you may not have noticed because in our lane, all the houses are pretty much set back, aren't they? But there aren't really many pumpkins here, and everywhere else there
It's not very Halloweeny here, is it?
No.
I think it's too posh to be Halloweeny.
No, it's not that. It's got a church in our lane.
Oh,
Halloween's
so that would
pagan.
be. So
So a
really,
lot of
what if
people
someone
here-
did that? There would be uproar.
Well, I'm teasing you slightly.
Oh.
No, but I think a lot of older people live here, so therefore it's not really in their DNA.
Yeah, I
to put
guess they're not
pumpkins
looking
out
for
and-
trick or treaters.
No, but when we moved here, my children were small, my girls. They used to get really upset. So we'd buy all the sweets, put all the
Because there was no
pumpkins up.
vibe.
Nobody would knock. Nobody would knock on the door. And then I'd ring up and get some friends in the next village. Can you bring so auntie
Yeah.
and knock on the door and trick or treat?
But they could have gone doing it to other people. But I guess everyone if they're old, they're too scared to open the door.
Well, also it's pitch black here.
Yeah,
It's just not very friendly. So
you need a lot more lighting here in the countryside, I feel.
definitely don't. It's good for stargazing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
The view, I could see it from the lounge. It's the South Downs?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. It's just beautiful, honestly.
It is stunning.
Oh.
That's why we moved here. You do feel very great. You're welcome to come here anytime and just breathe in the view.
Yeah, how long for? Like a month at a time? Or?
Stay in the barn. Got a guest bed.
I'm going to move in.
It's really nice.
Sweet.
No, you can stay there.
Oh.
Friends and family.
Julia, I will take you seriously.
Yeah, I'm saying you can come and spend the
She
night.
doesn't realise how scared she needs to be.
I'm not scared.
I was going to go to Wakehurst Place today, but then I saw like a sign, like an AA sign that was like you had to be book tickets only because it's like part of like Halloween and always half term and so many of these gardens. It's actually a nice discussion point because gardens now always have something like seasonal that then brings in the kids at half term and this and that. So actually, as a garden visitor, it was really hard for me to then go. I went to Board Hill is where I went because Wakehurst was like reservation only.
And that you could just drive straight in there.
Yeah. So I didn't need a pre-reserved ticket, which is, I kind of understand they need to diversify in different months of the year. But also, as a garden visitor, I felt really weird and conspicuous being like this tall guy on his own when there's kids in Halloween outfits running around everywhere and I'm trying to take lovely pictures of like gastromias and stuff and like desperately trying not to get kids in the background. It was dodge. I really got the wrong day today.
You did. The thing is, the half term now is over 2 weeks, so it spans 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I do think it's wrong that it's reservation only. I think that's wrong. I think it puts off people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it that they have to monitor their numbers, but it just doesn't seem right. And that's happening more in other places.
Because then, as a garden visitor, I don't know why I'm putting it in inverted commas, but I have. There's then 2 weeks of the year I can't then access a garden, and probably Easter as well, when there's an Easter trail, and it's like
probably, and they're all doing it because they're all trying to draw in more visitors, aren't they? Yeah. And I tell you the other thing they're all doing. They're all doing the illuminations at Christmas
as well.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
That gets a bit samey now as well.
I think so. Been to one. We did go to the Wakehurst one, and it was lovely.
Because I feel like Kew is the best.
And I've not done Kew.
Yeah.
But as a secondary, Wakehurst is very good. But Wakehurst is a baby Kew, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
I was confused. Wakehurst is also National Trust, though, right?
No, but they've got a link with National Trust.
Oh.
It's not National Trust owned, unless the house is, but it's not. They do weddings, I think, at the house.
Okay.
But that's the thing. If you were a National Trust card holder, you could go for free. But you would have to pay to park. I mean, I understand they need to make money, but it is a bit of a challenge.
Oh, I'd find somewhere to park.
Well, so
I'd buff up to a beach somewhere.
Well, a few years ago, people would be parking in the village of Ardingly, you see, and then walking.
Right. Oh, I haven't confessed to you yet about what I ate earlier.
Come on, then.
She was like, the minute I came in, she was like desperate to make me a drink. I had a tour of the herbal teas. I also got to choose my own mug, which is really
thought that was random.
Quite an honour as well, yeah.
What's to be allowed in my mug cupboard?
She was like desperate to make me some salad or something. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Because I wanted to get a sandwich at Board Hill, but they weren't all that.
No.
Ardingly, is that right?
Ardingly.
Ardingly.
You went to the bakery?
Yeah.
Oh, you found the bakery.
I was Googling bakeries. Ardingly had a bakery, and I walked in, right? And it's cool. I really wanted a freshly made sandwich, but they didn't have those.
No.
They had them like pre-done. But I saw on the board, like, sort of bacon roll, sausage and bacon roll. And so I asked the girl, and she was like, and she kind of, like she nodded to the other one in code, like as if, are they still available? Because it's quite late in the day to have a sausage and bacon bap,
She might have thought he's not a local.
I know as well. And she scuttled off. She was like, red or brown sauce. And she made it. And then she gave it to me in this bag and was like, this bag is so big. She made me like 2 or something. And then when I went outside and I sat on the bench because I was desperate to look like a local. And I ate my sausage roll first.
Don't sit on the bench.
Oh, do they not? I do not rate the sausage roll. I have to be honest. I tell you where I rate for sausage rolls.
Yeah.
BP Wild Bean Cafe.
Do you? Okay.
They're very good.
I think Waitrose do good ones.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a hot counter there then? Or what?
Oh, no, you have to have them cold. Bring them home and heat them up.
I mean, like,
Oh, I see what you mean, takeaway. Yeah.
An ad hoc sausage roll. Yeah, not a planned sausage roll, Julia.
Fair enough. I only do planned ones.
You seem that type.
I'm a Virgo.
I'm a Scorpio, by the way.
I know nothing about Scorpios. Other than
It's supposed to be a growl. I was like, Grr. I don't know. I only know the cool bits.
I'm meant to be scared of Scorpios.
I don't know. So anyway, I opened this bag after I ate my sausage roll, and it is the biggest bap I've ever seen. It was long. It was like wide and long, and it was full of bacon and sausage, and it was amazing value, and it was delicious, and I would eat that every day.
Brilliant. There we are. There's a good... You should work for them. You should do advertising.
I made that story quite long, despite not having a very alluring ending.
Was the bap longer than my loofah I showed you?
Oh, definitely, yeah. You really failed with loofahs, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know that was on our mustn't mention on the podcast. Oh,
we've got an interloper.
Oh, we've got an interloper. What do we do?
What do we do? Do we just...
Hey, man.
Hi.
How's it going?
What's happened?
Right, we had an interloper. It's your husband. Did you know I was going to be here, by the way?
Yes,
Right, good.
I always tell him about my mail callers.
We're suddenly like, what the hell?
Best to be transparent.
We were starting to talk about your loofah, weren't we? Because
yes.
You actually gifted your husband a loofah one Christmas, didn't you?
I teased him all summer that he was having a homegrown gift.
Yeah.
He didn't know what.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, as we got closer to Christmas, he looked a bit worried, but honestly didn't believe me. So Christmas morning, I wrapped it in my finest Waitrose red wrapping paper, and it's about the size of a small cucumber, I'll say. And his face was a picture, because
Yeah.
he really didn't think I'd go through with it.
Oh, my God.
But he has been
And it was
using
dried and ready to use.
Yeah, it looks just like a loofah, just not like those really huge ones you import from Asia, you know. Anyway, it lives in the shower. And I did forget to mention earlier on that I am actually a regular on BBC Radio Kent Sussex. I'm sorry.
Of course, you should stop plugging yourself.
No, sorry, but this is going somewhere. No, sorry. Anyway,
I'm joking. No. Oh, she's got a worried face on
I'm
now.
worried.
She's like, I'm going to be in trouble.
and I quite like to take in a show and tell in case we have gaps where callers are meant to come in and ask me questions, and I'm meant to know the answer. And anyway, I took the loofah and quite early on to the presenter, Pat, and I handed it over. And I said, "This is the loofah I've been telling you about." And he went, "Ew, it's come straight from the shower." And I said, "Yes, it has." And he went, "Oh, I don't really want to hold it." But I had washed it. Quite clean. Nothing gruesome hiding in the holes.
Oh, my gosh. Honestly.
But yes, we'll have a laugh.
So we had the interloper, we had the loofah.
Yeah.
Where were we? We were at Board Hill, and then...
We were talking about Board Hill and the parking. Well, no, Wakehurst. We went to Wakehurst, didn't we?
Yeah.
I've told you that Standon has a lovely garden.
Ah, yes. I said
that
where's
is
good
National
nearby.
Trust.
Standard. Because I was chasing autumn today. Yeah.
Yes,
I
but
wanted the autumn colour.
was the colour good at Board Hill?
Yeah, fairly. But what you need with autumn colour is the sun on it as well.
You do.
And I'm really lucky. I live just 5 minutes from Kew, so I've been Kew quite a lot recently. And when it's a sunny day, it's just beautiful. And I
get
feel
that
like it's
blue
a good
sky.
year for autumn. I
Well,
don't know.
here's brilliant.
It feels vintage.
Autumn's late.
Yeah.
I'd say next
definitely.
week it could be better. So we went to Berlin this weekend for a short city break, and autumn was spectacular there, and I could feel how far advanced
cool.
they are compared to us.
Oh, that's nice. You do like a city break, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Cool.
Have you been to Berlin?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
God, there's a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah, a few years ago now, but
We needed
that's
something
really cool.
prettier by our third day. We
Oh, I
just
see
needed
what
to
you
get
mean.
out.
Yeah. What's that one? Kreuzberg.
We went to Potsdam.
Uh-huh.
It's got 5 palaces.
Yeah.
So just lifted spirits.
Because you weren't in Berlin for the grime, were you?
I wasn't in Berlin for the grime. It was just, I think, because of the history as well. And everything's new, apart from 2 buildings or 3 buildings. It's just, you know, we had a whole day of history, and it was unbelievable. And I cried at the end of our tour. We had a brilliant lady that took us around on a tour. And she told us this tale at the end. She's saying basically it's all about survival and, you know, blah, blah. And she told us this tale about this young couple that fell in love in a ghetto, the Prague one, and then they evicted everybody from the Prague ghetto. Anyway, this young boy and girl, and they managed to escape. And they survived and lived in the forest for 11 months.
Oh, my God.
She tells the tale better.
Yeah.
And anyway, carried on, told us everything about it. And at the end, she said, and they were my grandparents.
Oh, no
and
way.
I burst into tears and gave her a hug.
Oh, my God. I think the difference, like, it's always such a difference when you've got a luminous tour guide. We had I was on a Fleur Selectors, like this European Trials convention thing in the summer in
Oh, you went to Austria.
Brno.
Is that, oh.
Yeah, in the Czech Republic first. And
Okay.
then, Austria was the one the month before, actually. Oh, so lucky I travelled so
So
much
look
this
at
summer.
you.
La, la, la. And she was just hilarious, the way that she told the history in the Lednica Castle. It was just
Was
amazing.
it?
Yeah. Really
okay.
cool.
I
It's
think
so funny.
you're right. They do bring things alive, don't
totally,
they? Yes.
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, city breaks then. Well, where else have you been? Have you been to
Tira?
Copenhagen?
No, but that's where my youngest wants to go with me next year, and I said I've done
you
enough.
love it, honestly.
I do want to go.
The vibe, the style, kind of a lot of the newer architecture as well as the older. It's beautiful.
yeah, I've got a friend that lives there, in Frederiksberg.
You'll love a Smorrebrod.
Oh, I would
I reckon
do.
that's right up your boulevard.
Hold up the Strasse.
Oh.
No, but I've got a friend that lives there, and she works for the World Society for Protection of Animals. She's worked for them for a number of years. When she was in London, she was on a plight for, she did the big campaign for the bears, and then she moved on to moose.
Yeah.
This is a little
Why
known
is everything
fact.
you talk about has got a punchline? I love it.
Anyway, it's like moose. I loved mooses.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved them. I just think they're really quirky animals, and I just love their, everything. Anyway, she did this campaign, and I said, I really want to help them. So I sent her, this is about 30 years ago, a tenner
Yeah.
to say, let's feed the moose.
Well, and then you got a moose delivered.
No. But I kept asking her. On about year 3, she just said, Julia, can you stop asking about the moose? You gave us £10. It's not going to do any good anymore. You know, like, and she didn't mean it meanly. She just thought, just stop asking about the moose. It was really embarrassing.
That's so cute, honestly. Did you not think of upping your donation or?
No.
No?
I should have done.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us what you do with Parker's Patch, though, because you've written a book and you do classes and workshops. How many years have you done that for?
Oh, probably seriously about 7. Yeah, so I love doing. So my classes are little workshops teaching people how to grow their own, mainly from seed.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I
nice.
love. It's the seed sowing, and it's getting your hands dirty.
I haven't sown any seeds for years. I did sow some for Gunners World YouTube last week, but it's not the same as when you're actually growing something to follow through. So.
It is. That's the satisfaction of planting a seed, nurturing it or ignoring it, and then getting end result, be it a flower or fruit. I mean, it's just so satisfying, and that's what I try to convey to everyone. I love it. I love it. And so people come, and I do spring and autumn ones, and the autumn is the most popular because most people don't realise you can sow seeds in the autumn.
Yeah. Autumn is key gardening season.
It is.
Really. People don't get it.
No, they don't. They're beginning to. So now there's a real trend that people understand you can sow sweet peas in the autumn, and they're better. Did you notice them in my loo rolls? And you probably didn't.
Yeah. Because your workshop's just here on the side of the house.
We
It's
had
amazing.
a little tour, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
It took about a minute.
Oh, no.
But
that's so cool, though.
yeah, no, it is really cool. I'm very lucky to have that space.
And who comes? Is that like local people or from further afield?
No, I've had
You
people.
could do
from London.
hen-dos. No, in a nice way.
I could do.
Yeah. I don't know, like...
Why couldn't I do stag do's as well?
Yeah. No, but that would be, like... I don't know, because everyone's looking for alternative
They
of,
are.
like, things to do these days. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you need to jazz it up with, I don't know, something that's more but you just give them a glass of Prosecco, you're all right.
Throw a loofah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, that would be really cool, actually.
Anyway, no, that would be good. It's a good idea. I don't know how I get onto websites, but yes.
I guess you just show it on socials, really.
Yeah.
It's not really about websites as much now, is it, really?
I get a lot of word of mouth and socials.
Yeah.
I'll put a story up and say there's a course, and then, but anyway, they come from all over. I get through London. We're only an hour and 15 from London on the TOT, so it's quite easy. But yeah, so I love doing those. I started doing a few talks as well. So
Oh, nice. You've been working with Alitex here and there, haven't you?
Yeah, I love working at Alitex.
Nice, they're so cute.
They are very good people to work with. And
Is it still all girls? It was all girls and one guy when I was last dealing with them.
All girls.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No one guy anymore.
I love them though, honestly.
Yes, and they are the beautiful greenhouses, though, aren't they? They're the most spectacular greenhouses. So yeah.
But you don't have one, no?
No. I don't. So I've inherited that greenhouse. It was here when we moved in.
You'd be in line for one.
I am saving for one. If I'm going to have one, I will have an Alitex. I'd say that. But I think I'd need
be
to
awkward if you didn't.
It would be awkward. But I need to redesign that area because I think I couldn't have a lean-to. So at the moment, I've got a lean-to against a wall, which you saw. I think I'd probably redo it, possibly put one right in the middle.
Oh, cool!
Of that square,
there's a little feature. Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe, but that's kind of
That's cool.
It's in my mind. It just hasn't made it any further.
Oh, that's so exciting. Wow.
But they are beautiful. So, yes, and I love working with Alitex, and they've been very loyal to me, so do all sorts of things for them.
Wow.
Yes.
And you're going to GMG? You're going to the awards?
You go to the awards, yes.
Do you know what you're going to wear yet?
No, I need a new frock. If anyone's listening, I need a new frock.
I'm always like really, I don't know what the word is, but with stuff like that, I always like, I can't be bothered to dress smartly, which is like...
You look quite smart today.
Do I?
Yes.
I'm wearing neoprene.
I like that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. It's clean.
But you like everything.
You haven't got
you're too
bacon fat down the front.
No, but you know what? It's so hot.
It's
really hot. And underneath, I only wore a vest. And I'm like, if I needed to take it off, I'd be wearing a vest.
I've just seen his tummy.
But yeah, I don't know what to wear. I'm like, always like, when there's something really smart, I always want to play it down because I'm just like, oh.
You should do the reverse.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
As you're up for an award.
Yeah, but I don't like, I'm not doing this for sympathy, but I don't think I will win.
No, and I didn't last year. But the whole...
I don't think I'll win. You'll be like, no.
No, but I'm trying to make you feel better because I don't think anybody should think they're going to win.
No, but sometimes you know the feeling if you've got a chance. But I know, especially Mark Diacono and Joe Thompson, very strong with Substack. So
you're all strong. Yeah. All of you are strong. I've looked at the list.
True.
And you've no idea what the judges are looking for.
I guess we all come from very different angles as well.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So you've all got a brilliant chance.
But the way I write is quite lazy because I just write how I speak. And people like that, but it feels very lazy to me because it's just like, blah, blah, blah. It's on the paper.
It's your personality coming out.
I guess so.
No, it's a brilliant thing. Yes.
Who are you up against, though?
I thought you might ask me that. I actually can't reel them
Who do I need to get a hit out on?
Quite a few. I think there were 5 of us in the shortlist. Last year, I think, was only 3. Oh, well, basically, we're up against professional contenders.
No, but yours sounds professional as well. Imagine if we were up against you. That'd be awkward, wouldn't it?
That would be. Would we speak or would we turn the other cheek? What would we do?
It is funny, though, because, like, I remember last year there was, or the year before, like, if there was someone on my table and I think they really expected to win and then they didn't win and they were really like...
That's what I mean about earlier.
Afterwards. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, true. Yeah, honestly. And I won in the past. What was it? I think TV segment, and maybe the year before was social media. But that was when they were online. And it's very different winning something when you're online on Zoom to in real life, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Because it was just me like going nuts in my lounge on a camera. But like,
I was on that Zoom.
Yeah.
Because our book, I'd entered that, and that got shortlisted.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
And I found that really disappointing and hard. I was new to all of the social media anyway. I was on my own.
Yeah.
The book was shortlisted. I was too scared to say anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the awards were announced and that was it. Nothing was advertised or spoken about afterwards,
was it not? I don't know. I don't remember. But it was a different feeling.
It was.
Online.
It's much better. I mean, we're going to the Savoy.
I know.
We are getting our glad rags on.
I'm too young to get excited about the Savoy.
Do you go for drinks afterwards? Because the whole group of people go for drinks in the pub.
They always go to the coal hole,
they do,
don't they? Yeah.
Yes.
I sometimes just flitter around and then do some like Belgian exit or something. Yeah.
What's a Belgian exit?
It's like a French one, but just like less exciting. I'm sorry if anyone's Flemish or Walloon.
Well, I went.
That's a nice place
year.
for a city break. Yeah.
Yes.
The coal hole.
I was going to say, hang on a minute, London.
You went last year. What happened?
But I don't drink.
No, same.
Okay. And that slightly tempers it in a different way.
But you know what? I really stopped drinking mostly this year. And I now understand those 0% drinks. Do you ever drink those?
I do, but it's hard to find good ones.
I like this Lucky Saint beer.
So do I.
Yeah,
it's the best one.
We nearly convulsed in excitement. But it really is. And she's desperate to feed me. But the thing is, like, I really get drunk on placebo.
Yes.
And when I was on holiday in Spain in the summer, my friend turned up to dinner a little bit later, really drunk. And by the end of the evening, I felt as drunk as him, but I wasn't drinking anything because I was rubbing off him. And also the feeling of drinking something that feels like a beer is kind of like gives you that. Yeah. So I now understand what a 0% is. And but honestly, I don't think...
Do you miss it?
No, not really. I think the thing that is the hardest thing is always thinking what the people around you will say or their reactions. But it's becoming less and less. And also, I don't want to compromise my life to like then do something that I feel I have to do just because I'm too scared to not do it.
Quite right. But we are of a certain age. So the younger generation that can't drink for different reasons, I do feel sorry for them because there is still a bit of peer pressure.
Do you think there is though?
Yeah, I do.
Because all you hear in the news is that like younger people are not drinking.
I know.
And it's a change in culture, but they make it sound like it's really natural. Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
there still is peer pressure, and I've definitely suffered it in my group. And I'd just say I'm allergic to it.
Oh, go on, have one. They'll be like that, wouldn't they?
What's wrong with you? Why are you not having one? Just have one for... Well, it doesn't... And
you have to make something up.
Well, I don't. I just say I'm allergic. And that literally stops it. But the other thing...
Or have you made that up?
No, I am really unwell from it.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
But...
Do you mean a hangover? That's not allergy, you know, darling.
No. No, I'm out for the count for 2 days.
Oh, really?
But what's it? Yeah. So, but the thing I find is that when I go to people's houses, the only things on offer, tap water, which is not exactly scintillating if you kind of want
not
to.
Even Pellegrino.
Maybe fizzy, not everywhere, or something sweet. And if you want to replace alcohol, you don't want something sweet. And I find that really
because they're all
difficult.
weirdly calorific and kind of
Just when you're eating something, you don't want an out of black cordial. That's my point. And that's getting a bit better.
I haven't seen them around as much recently, but Free Spirit drinks. They sponsored our podcast one series. They're really beautiful because I see you've got some seed lip out there.
I've got seed lip,
Do you
got
like the seed lip?
I did, but I probably OTT'd.
Aha.
So
I didn't find. Look out for Free Spirit.
Okay,
It's TH. I can't
Yeah.
do TH. Free Spirit. And it's really, they're beautifully complex drinks with all sorts of like extracts in, and you feel something as well. One's called a Livener, which has kind of got this like almost like chili fizzing flavour, and they're pretty healthy. They're not full of sugar.
Yeah.
The middle one's called the Social Elixir, which you might almost akin to a slightly gin. It's kind of bitterish.
Okay.
But much more complex. And the final one is the Nightcap, and that has got hops, valerian. It's a bronze colour and it feels silky when you drink it. It's really sexy.
Okay.
Free Spirit, look at that.
I'm going to look for that because I got into Crodino.
Okay.
Italian drink. That is brilliant.
Yeah. I never tried it. I've always seen it around though.
Well, it's full of sugar. But if you just want one little drink with some ice and some rosemary or something, it's delicious.
That's cool.
That's Italian. They do a red one as well, which is a bit more like a Campari replacement.
Okay.
And Mother Root is the other thing, the ginger. I love that, just with fizzy water.
I do love ginger stuff,
So Mother Root is delicious. That's really good.
There's one called Gimba. It's probably
tried
similar
that.
to that, I
Okay.
reckon,
Yeah. But it is, they're getting better. So we're quoting ones. But
I know this is really, I really love water.
I do, but it has to be fizzy.
Yeah,
Interesting
definitely.
on tap.
I love the Polish water. Have you ever had Polish bottled water? Muśnianka. And it's full of minerals and it's kind of fizzy, but it's also very full flavoured. It's very full in your mouth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but why isn't that imported over here? That would do really well.
I buy it in the Polish shops.
Yes, but in mainstream.
Yeah, I know. You get it in Sainsbury's, actually.
Would I?
Yeah, in my local Sainsbury's, like there's little foreign sections, and I could get Muśnianka. But you won't get it out here in Sussex, will ya? Not on the Downs.
No, not sure we'll be seeing that.
But it's
Probably
beautiful.
in Brighton we would.
Honestly, yeah. The one in the green bottle is without the bubbles. The one in the blue is with. But I also love Vicky Catalan. In Barcelona, you know, the salty kind of fizzy drink.
Is that like
water?
a bit like Pellegrino? Because that's like,
salty.
Okay.
Vicky Catalan.
Okay.
Amazing. Beautiful. Yeah.
Excellent. We should do a whole new section on non-alcoholic drinks, shouldn't we?
No, we should do a water podcast, like a review on water.
We could do.
But it's actually really interesting. Because also in Barcelona, I don't know the name of it, but you know the one in the blue bottle? That's really beautiful as well.
Yes, because that looks nice on the table as well, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So things have to be pleasing
true.
aesthetically, and they have to taste nice as well. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I do love a water, and people like they see you drinking like fizzy water all night, and they're like, "Oh, are you okay with that?" It's like, yeah absolutely.
I think if you deliver it in that way, then it's all fine. Yeah.
Why are you bothered? You know what I mean?
And never wake up with a hangover.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly.
Yeah. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed every day, Michael.
Oh, Julia, it's so nice to talk to you. We might need to finish soon, or Ellen will tell us that we're too long. Anything else you want to talk about? Desperately, urgently. What is on your next podcast? What's your next episode?
Oh, it's coming out on Friday.
Oh,
Winter Pots.
Oh, Winter Pots, nice.
Yeah. So
That's all. Could we have just recorded something on Winter Pots?
No, but ours is. Well, Dan does his.
Well, ours isn't out for 3 weeks, so.
Oh no, you're going to crib from ours.
Oh God, we really are rivals now. I came in here thinking it was all calm.
But I bet you didn't discuss salads and things in pots, which is what I've done.
No.
So it's fine. We can still speak to each other.
I think it'd be so easy to wind up, actually.
I'm trying to be polite to you.
Oh, cool. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. Good luck with yours.
Thank you.
I'll be listening more intently.
Cool. But yeah, anything else you'd like to add? Where can people look you up?
Yes, okay. So we could buy the book.
Yeah.
That is publishing.
What's it called?
The Little Growers Cookbook.
Little Growers Cookbook. And this is geared towards getting children to grow their own.
Yes,
Yeah.
getting them off their screens and into the green.
Mm-hmm.
And it's aimed at ages 3 to 12
Cool.
or any age because it's written in a format that is for grandparents, aunts, uncles, godparents and children. It's a coffee table book and it's not primary colours step by step like all the other books we bought at the time. We tried to make something very pleasing, something attractive that would look nice on a coffee table.
Is there one here?
No, it's in the other room.
But one in the... Oh, you got Uno.
Yeah.
I love a bit of
Game.
Uno. We can play that when I move in.
There is actually backgammon in the barn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, yes, that's the book. Or you can find me online at Parkers_Patch website. Listen to me on the radio.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast, You Good Gardeners.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Iconic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Iconic. That's me.
Oh, see you soon. Thank you for being Ellen stand-in today.
Pleasure.
I think you've been her perfect stunt double. Hey guys, the sponsor for Series 16 of the Plant-Based Podcast is Grow This Not That, which is the Substack by myself, Michael Perry, also known as Mr. Plant Geek. This is the place where you can get all the hot happenings in the hort world directly to your inbox. Every Friday there's a hort report which brings together the influencer, industry and home gardener worlds, and every Wednesday I'll recommend 5 plants that you can grow, and subscribers get an extra free as well. All you need to do to find out more about my wonderful Substack called Grow This Not That is go to mrplantgeek.substack.com. Hope to see you there. The music for the Plant-Based Podcast is part of the song Grow by Mikey James, and our editor is Gareth Patch of Semi Echo.